Absolutely nobody. It's a little bit better, I think. Right there. All right. What you want, man? What you want? You big goofball. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Go away. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Yeah, I'm just doing a random live here, and yeah, I guess the topic of the day is gonna be what do you grind for, right? So, see how many people on? 3 are on. Yeah, yeah. So what do you grind for? And I'm interested to hear you guys' answers. So let me know. Let me know if you're able to hop on and join and comment in. Uh, it's kind of noisy here because the dude is doing the weed whacker across the street, but we're gonna get through it. So yeah, you guys saw the you guys see the title. So I guess I'll just dive into it from my end. Um, yeah, I guess number one is probably for my own answer is myself, right? Um, to try to make something of his life, you know, and at different stages of my life, I guess I've prioritized myself. If that makes any sense. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that I made my sacrifices to see family well, right? Over the years, and also when I was in a relationship for a long time, a lot of my energy was revolved around. Oh, go 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 go. A lot of my energy was revolved around trying to keep my girl happy in that time, So, all right, we're getting rid of trolls here. Okay, but yeah, it's cool with me. It says, I'm done. I'm grinding in the new year and traveling and living on $1,000 a month. I know it's small, but the West is dying. Yeah, for sure. There you go. So yeah, if you got a good goal in hand, that's awesome. I'm glad for y'all. Yeah, happy for y'all. Um, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's I guess kind of bringing it back to well, what I was saying is grinding for myself. Uh, yeah, that was one of my biggest, relatively recent goals. It was to get here and do everything in my power to get here and to live here. So yeah, I can completely relate to that for sure, 1,000%. You know, and yeah, but man, I might have to go inside. It's kind of loud. But I guess besides myself, my own well-being and my progression. I guess I've had to at different points in my life, like I was saying, do stuff for others, live for others, make sure that they were well, make sure that they were good, thriving, uh, were able to live special moments in their lives. Um, and in any way I could help that, make that happen, I would. You know, um, but man, I mean, it can be a lot though when you live for other people. You know, whether it's a romantic partner, family, and so like you start setting your boundaries and stuff. Um, I think it's perfectly fine to live for yourself. Uh, be a little bit more selfish, even though that's not the right word. Not really in this context, right? But you know, uh, yeah, I gotta wait till the street lights come on, or I'll have to go inside. Yeah, I'll probably just go inside. Otherwise, I'm gonna get eaten out here. So 1 second. Yeah, we were definitely gonna eat. Shake on. Okay. Okay, he's here. Mm, go. Okay, dog is here. Ugh, man. Sorry, guys. Trying to stay on topic. Too much going on. No, go to bed. Hey, go to bed. Yeah. Ugh. All right. Okay. I think we're good now. But man, sorry, you guys. I got like a million distractions right now. um. Okay. All right. Let's start over. So yeah. So anyways, I guess for my end, I was just thinking that it can be exhausting, man. Like living for other people, and the thing is, like a lot of times you feel a lot of responsibility for people, especially as a man. You know, whether it's family or whatever. Um, and just to not talk about myself for a second, like so this is going to be pretty offensive to some people. Chico, go, 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 go. Sorry, you guys. I don't know what my dog is doing, but he's just being a nuisance. Go, 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 go. All right. Sorry, guys. My dog is doing 10 million things, doing stuff he's not supposed to. Okay. All right. So, uh, Hugo Morales says, "Hey man, where are you now?" I'm in San Lorenzo, Paraguay. I'm in my place. So, yeah, just chilling, just chilling. Um, yeah, but getting back to the story here. Uh, I was watching something on YouTube, but it was talking about oh what do they call it? Uh, son husbands, right? So these are guys who were raised by single mothers, right? And they continue. to live with their mother after they turn 18, and the mother leans on them heavily for either financial reasons or to take care of her health wise, etc. Right? And you know, I've seen, I know guys in my personal life who have sacrificed a lot for their mothers, right? Um, and it doesn't have to be a mother; it could be anybody in your family, Uh, but it sacrificed a lot for their families, right? Whether it be their moms, their whoever. And for me, like it was always fine, like in my case, to sacrifice as long as it was for the next generation, you know, as long as it was for the next generation, because they deserve a fighting chance, you um, and taking care of the older generations, like I mean, they had so many years on this earth to, if not figure things out financially, at least become a decent person, you know, and some parents and some people who are, I guess, who lean on the younger generations, but they're not even really decent people. It's like, why do you deserve it, you know, or just like parents who have made so many bad decisions in life that and then now they expect you to like step up and do things for them, etc. It's like, why? you know like it's one thing if your parents were always there, and your parents helped you in life and guided you and did everything in their power to the best of their ability. That's one thing, you know but it's an entirely other situation where they had made so many bad decisions, and so many guys, or girls, grew up without a father, for example, or just any kind of stable family. And then later, that parent expects you to what? Just because that parent what gave birth or something, or whatever, to lean on you for the rest of your life. And so it kind of brings me back to, if you guys have seen the movie Friday Night Lights, right? The quarterback, he's faced with the tough decision, right? To go off to college and to uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay, I'll continue my story in a second. Pacific Coast Northern says, "What's happening? What's up, man? I'm in Medellin. Oh, nice, dude. Going to Leticia on the 27th, and heading down the Amazon to Iquitos, Peru. Feliz Navidad. Yeah, man. Happy Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. That'll be a fun trip. That'll be a fun trip. Yeah, this live we're just going over what keeps you grinding, um, and who you should grind for. So, anyways, I was just kind of in the middle of it talking about the Friday Night Lights example when the star quarterback is given a chance to go to college, but he feels so incredibly guilty and responsible to take care of his mother, you know, and and pretty much sacrifice his young adult years to you know see his mother well. And those are the most important years. And if you just basically become a caregiver, you're losing out so much on your potential, you know and I know people who this has happened to in real life, right? Not just in the movies, and I've been faced with this challenge too. When I came down here and my biological mother, and I was like guilted into uh, having to buy so many things, and I'm just like, wait, I'm so young right now. Like I can't even take care of myself. I haven't even graduated from college yet. This was when I was 20, barely 21 years old. So I was like, how in the hell am I supposed to like what like take care of you? Like no, like if anything, uh, oh wow, yeah. If anything, we can continue a relationship, but immediately after meeting me, like to expect things from me, like I mean that's so transactional. You know what I mean? And so like a lot of you guys will probably think of like transactional relationships as like romantic relationships, right? But if you have family in other countries, and then if they lack the self awareness or respect for you, that they could just start asking you for like pretty insane shit. You know what I mean? Um, and especially at such a young age when you don't even have your life figured out, and you're just trying to come down and visit and just get to know your people and your culture and the language and everything, then to be having to like throwing on all this responsibility. So like what I'm trying to say is I've known guys who have thrown away their youth. When I mean youth, I mean your young adult years. Well, hell, even your teen years, right? Just to take care of family, man. And they get so far behind in life, and it's just crazy. But yeah, Pacific Coast Northern says, my mom launched me out of the house 4 days after my 17th birthday. Never went back and haven't spoke to her since. I am 52. Holy shit, dude. That's wow. That's a hell of a story, dude. But a lot of people, if they read what you just said, a lot of people would look at you like, "Oh my god, but she's your mom." Like you know how many times I've heard that shit in my life? Like I still hear it till this day from my family. But it's your mom. But she gave birth to you. But oh my god, I'm like I don't care. I don't care. Like y'all need to understand, not y'all, but people who have said that to me like over the years, they need to understand how much hardship I went through. You know, and a lot of people here, especially in Paraguay, think, oh, but I mean, you grew up in America, so you must be good. You know, like I'm like, first of all, y'all don't know how it is to grow up in America. It's tribal. Second of all, I still had to do all the necessary things, like graduate from high school, graduate from college, all that bullshit too. Like all the shitty fucking jobs I've had, and working my way up and all that, and trying to come to my own conclusions in life. So for somebody to like try to get things out of you later in life when you're barely even set yourself, it's like, come on, man. Like really? This is kind of outrageous. So anyways, like that's why I've always focused on the next generation. um and it sounds bad, but I really don't. I can't really extend my sympathy for those who have had a lifetime, decades and decades on this earth more than I have, you know, and like especially if you kind of see their lives as well. You kind of see their lives, and it's like, see, I can tell somebody's life if like they're constantly grinding, they're constantly working on side projects, trying to do something better themselves, whatever. And to those people, I have mad respect, because I'm in that game too. But when I see people with wasted years, especially folks who are like well in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and then they're still wasting those years. I'm like, damn, dude, like, you know, like, well, what's going on here? Like I'm 34, and it scares the shit out of me to even like get one decade from now, and to know that I haven't at least tried. So I don't know. It's just kind of odd. But Anyways, but even like going into like the new generation too, though. Like the new generation eventually is going to grow up and they're eventually going to live their lives as well, you know. And so, yes, even if you want to see them well, as a parent, as a uncle, as an aunt, as a godfather, as a godmother, um, you know, eventually they're going to reach 18 and their adult years, and they have to learn too, you know. And not everything is just money and events and all that shit, but like they gotta understand too that, you know, if they have somebody who means well, that's trying to steer them the right direction, that they should listen, you know. But at the same time, not gaslight them, because older generations are fucking amazing at gaslighting, you know, to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. So not like that, but just like, you know, just talk to them about certain things. Like for example, um, you know, I don't know if you guys have like like boomer parents, for example, right? If you ever notice with boomer parents, they never, ever, if they're married, will ever talk about their past relationships, right? So you're kind of left in the dark, right? Because you don't really know what the hell you're doing, right? So you just go on in life because for them it's taboo to talk about old relationships, right? So, like for example, I didn't even know that my dad or my mom even knew anybody before they got married, you know. So, I mean, you know, and I had to like ask my dad like in my mid 20s, like, hey dad, like, you know, just to let you know, and I love my dad, you know, but I just like, just to let you know, we don't know a single thing. Like, we didn't really get any advice from you guys at all, besides some of the like the critical stuff after we've already entered relationships. But like, we never got the you know, don't like pursue this kind of person, don't pursue this kind of person. Um, you know, this is how you should, like, you know, hopefully have your life turn out, and then look for the right person, like that. All that was like really hands off, um because they just expected you to just learn by experience. But the thing is, like, a lot of us fuck up. Right now, the age I'm at, like, I have a good 2 decades. you know uh you know, being with girlfriends, relationships, all that stuff. So when I try to warn the new generation who's 18, 19, 20, and I'm 34, I'm like, look, man, you're going to waste years with this person. And I'm sorry it has to be that direct, but I'm telling you from experience, man. This is stuff that my parents never fucking told me, you know? But, like, you are going to waste years with this person if you don't change, if your guys' dynamics don't change, you know? And I know it can be really hard as a guy to get a wake up call like that, especially from people who love you, because you know, guys are very prideful. I get it. I totally understand. But at the same time, it's like, dude, like, you're missing the important things in life, you know. And yeah, so kind of a tangent, but I guess all kind of still in the same you know, topic, I guess. But I guess the point is that, if you live for others, man, that you can really maybe not set yourself back. I mean, some people can, like I brought up in the other example. If you're like the son husband and you're like the caregiver of your parent for like the rest of your life, and you just kind of throw away your entire uh, young adult years, like, no, I mean, that's probably the worst thing you could do. But even kind of a more, even being a little bit more hands off, but still doing other stuff. You know, you can find yourself in these cycles where you're just sacrificing so much and to see people well. And the very least you expect, sort of, is that that they just listen at some points, uh, but that's really it, and so and you can like I brought up in a video a couple of videos ago, like you can sort it out later. You can sort out what you agreed with, what you didn't agree with, if some points were sort of on, or if you're analyzing it like, oh no, that doesn't apply to me, that the generational aspects don't apply to me, etc. Um, they don't get it. I get it. You can you can kind of sort that stuff out later, but at least in the moment, just I guess cherish that you have people who are trying to look out for you. Um, but yeah, but get back on getting on. I guess bringing this full circle is the is to live for yourself, man. And I feel like I've honestly only been starting to do that like kind of lately, and I'm still not very good at it. Because I still feel a lot of pressure to. Well, it's kind of in my life at least. It's kind of that pressure's kind of going away, but it's still there. Um, but yeah, once you kind of get your whole life back to yourself, it's super liberating. And when you can be for your family there, but like in a limited capacity, where it's not like full blown responsibility stuff. Uh, that's a good feeling, man. And yeah, but I don't know. People are so attached to seeing others well, seeing their romantic partner well, their wife well, their kids well, and and you lose yourself, you know, and you forget to live for yourself a little bit, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah, it's just kind of crazy though, you know. Uh, Wasted years, man. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I mean, I wasted years. I should have started this channel a decade ago when I first started coming. I always thought that YouTube was like for people who are polished and have the best fucking cameras and all the best editing and all this stuff. Like if I would have started when I first came down here, which I always thought I should too. I was like, man, like dude, I could easily had like thousands more subscribers by now. Maybe not fully monetized because it's such a grind to get monetized these days. But even getting the followers and stuff, uh, you know. But at the same time, I'm glad that I started. You know, and this channel is 2 years old, so I started at 33 or 32, right? Yeah, just Disha, don't give up, bro. You'll make it. Believe yourself. Yeah, for sure. I'm not giving up. No, I'm just I'm more like talking about that I feel like I'm at a decent age to have kind of realized some certain things. uh, to make some certain changes in my life, but I mean, some people never come to those conclusions, you know, and it's pretty wild. Yeah. All right, we're getting rid of trolls here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. I mean, I'm good. Myself, I'm just kind of like I was mentioning in the beginning. I'm glad that I kind of get to live for myself a little bit more than I used to. Don't worry, you will make it. You'll make it. Things take time. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, see, that's the thing too. Like I talk to guys who, um, I talk to guys who restart in their mid 40s and mid 50s. All right, and so for me to kind of like have a realization, certain things happen in life in my early 30s. Uh, that's a good time, man. That's a good time. You know. So, um, yeah, and I had to learn a lot of hard lessons in my 20s, for sure. And yeah, and honestly, like I didn't always do this in a perfect way, but I tried to sacrifice a lot, to make sure people were good. And so I understand where people come from, but the only distinction, like I'll say again, I know I've said it a couple times, but it's one thing to take care of like innocent kids, see them well, make sure they get to adulthood with all the right you know opportunities and whatnot, and just make sure that they're well in those years and not suffering. But it's another thing to go back and like take care of older generations who, you know, I mean, if we're just being honest, should have done it themselves. So that's the only distinction I'll make really. Um, but yeah, but it's kind of liberating. Just I guess I can't get into too much detail, but it is kind of liberating though to where you gotta get to whatever point you're at in life, and wow, I have this time for myself. I don't have to do certain things anymore. And so, anyways, I guess that's all for that. But yeah, man, I guess besides that, like, what do you grind for? Who do you grind for? Like at this point too, it's pretty much just my goals. This channel, and getting better at my job, um, having new experiences. Eventually, one day, hopefully, meeting the right one, getting married, kids, all that stuff. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Everything takes time, just like just Disha said. You know, so everything takes time, but it's a life journey though. And yeah, I guess Okay, Pacific Coast Northern says, "Bro, I'm 52 and started over and moved to South America 3 years ago. Now I do 2 hours of Spanish 5 days a week down the street from Mercado Cuatro. Sometimes age is a number. I still can skateboard and ollie and ollie up a picnic table. Oh, nice, dude. Nice. That's what's up. Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, I like that though. I like that. Yeah, I mean, there's some people my age, man. I swear to God, they act like they're 75 years old. Like I see some complainers on the internet and stuff. Like maybe some of you guys think I'm complaining, but I'm really not. I'm just trying to give testimony and stuff. Uh, I just stay in the fight. But yeah, dude, there's some guys, they're on YouTube or whatever, and they're you could just tell that they gave up on everything, you know, and like and they you can just like feel like an old energy coming from them, you know. but uh, but yeah, like myself, I don't know. At least some girls I've been around, that uh, how do I say it? They don't. Yes, they know what age I am, but I don't know. I think I'm a little bit more youthful than some people my age, because some people my age are just so doomerish. They're so they're so nihilistic, they're so black pilled, you know. I'm like, dude, like you're still in your mid 30s, you know, like like Pacific Coast Northern said, like yeah, I've known guys who have woken up in their mid 40s and have whatever moved abroad, started a business, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, so anybody who's I guess my age or a little bit younger, like you still have a decade to even reach that point. So why don't you like do something with it? And a good example is I didn't even really necessarily want to go live right now. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I really kind of didn't, but I was like, look, man, I got to keep up this traction on my channel, and also, yeah, and also, keep the numbers going, but also get new people on the channel because a lot of people find my channel when I do go live. So, um, so sometimes, like for me, like what I'm doing right now is just kind of doing stuff, even though you don't really always want to do it, but just the consistency aspect of it, you know. So yeah, I mean, man, it's just hard, dude. It's hard for everything, for the business starting, YouTube stuff, getting better at whatever you're doing. But there's really no other option but just to keep going, you know. Yeah, and Pacific Coast Northern says do it now, and yeah, for sure, absolutely. Um, yeah, do it now, and before it's too late to get started with certain things. I totally agree. And for me too, like one of those things is like to uh yeah, man, I gotta find my remote. Okay. Otherwise this thing's gonna go out on me. Okay, we're good. I think we're good. And yeah, and like one of my things too is I got a boxing bag in the back, but stay consistent in training on that, and um and all that stuff again too, because I mean that's just as important as anything else. So um that part of my life I severely need to improve again. Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, I think everybody's biggest regret is the time they wasted, right? Everybody's, you know. So yeah, the do it now. Uh, yeah, it's an important message. You know, there's never a right time to do anything, and in fact, if you do wait too long, too many things could pop up in life. You know, or you could kill your dreams by inaction. You could kill your dreams by, oh, I'm going to go to Paraguay in 5 years. Well, what happens if you meet a girl in the U.S. and now you feel the hunkered down? Now you feel the anchored down, you know, and she has no intentions of going, and maybe you don't know how to follow your dreams, and so you are just like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to cross that off my list, even though it was in your biggest dreams and aspirations to make a move abroad, but because you're going on somebody else's timeline, or you're not doing some things because somebody else, you know, doesn't want you to, or they want to do it when they want to do it, or they don't want you to do it at all. Well, you can say goodbye to those dreams, And so, yeah. So for the whole my best like Paraguay thing, it's not to say that it's impossible, or I'd never go back to the U.S. You know, if I had to, I would. But I could at least look at this point in my life that said, you know, and I don't have any plans. So just to let you guys know, I don't have any plans. But if it were something that I needed to do, I would do it. But I wouldn't look back in this time in my life with regret, because I don't know. At least in my eyes, I did something that most people wouldn't even think of. Most people wouldn't dream of. You know, I've been here for a year and a half, and actually, I just talked to a friend the other day, and he couldn't believe it that it's already been a year and a half. It's like, oh, maybe a year. It's like, and that's how I can tell too. Some of my friends really don't follow me. I think that it might kind of hurt some of my friends, like some of my closest friends. Like, damn, like he's not part of the crew. We're not going out in the states. We're not linking up anymore. Uh, but if it were me, if I were in the states, I would be cheering on my homies. I'd be supporting. You know, because even though I make it look, and again, I'm not trying to complain, right? Even though I may make it look that like, and actually in my case, I do have my family here. I do have a lot of friends here. I have a lot of followers that hit me up. So like, but even with all that, it can be lonely for sure. It can be lonely, and one of my friends too the other day he asked like, "Oh, are you keeping up with the Packers?" Right? Because I'm from Wisconsin, so you know, we're all cheeseheads. We're all for the Packers in Wisconsin, and so I was like, "Nah, dude, I don't keep up with that shit at all." Like, always like, "Oh, you don't even check." I'm like, "Nah, dude, I don't." Like, if I have a Sunday free, I'm either resting, I'm planning a video, I'm cleaning the crib, I'm doing laundry, I'm making something to eat, I'm going somewhere, uh, I'm filming a video, editing a video. I'm like, dude, if I were to put my feet up and just like watch a Packer game for 3+ fucking hours, what, by myself, like, hell no, dude, hell no. And then that's how I also know too that people in the states are wasting their time, you know, because even though that people may look at me like, oh my god, Ryan, you're pretty unpolished, you joke around too much, your channel's not that big yet, or all these stupid fucking things that people will think or say. Uh, it's like at least I'm doing something different, you know. Like if I could go back to, and I know that everybody's dreams are different, right? Not everybody wants to move abroad, and some people are perfectly fine living in the states and they're making all kinds of money and all that stuff. But for me, I always really respected the people who were living abroad. There's one girl who went to the Philippines, but she became basically like a, what do you call it? Um, like a nun caregiver, right? Uh, because whatever, God spoke to her, whatever. I haven't seen her published in years, so I don't know if she's still doing that. But I respected her a lot. I was like, you're doing something that's so different. You are one out of our graduating class, out of the what 500 that we were. You know, you're you know you're living your life. You know, and I know that there's some people who kind of look at me in the same way. I don't live very glamorous though. Well, I do live well, but just not. You don't see me like in downtown Asuncion, like eating on rooftops every single night. There are some guys like that, and hell, if you can do that, that's great. But I live a chill life in a chill neighborhood with my dog. You guys have seen my life. You're seeing it right now. But you know, uh, it's so different than what most people are doing. They can't comprehend it, and even though they won't admit it, a lot of people won't admit it. They won't subscribe to your channel. They won't give you a like. They won't comment in. Even people who have known you for since you were 5 years old, 10 years old, 15, 20 years old, they won't, because either whatever they're either too busy. They want you to grow to a certain point where they take you serious, because in America you can't claim that you're doing anything until you're making a full-time living off of it. So, for example, here in Paraguay, people will straight up tell people, "Oh, he's an American YouTuber," right? Um, But in America, I can't say that. I can't say I'm a YouTuber because immediately they're going to be like, "Oh, well, how much money do you make? Like, are you making a full time living off of it?" And if your answer is no, then they say, "Okay, well, don't say that you're doing that." But Paraguayans will introduce me. Oh yeah, he's the Paraguayan American YouTuber or whatever. So in the states is so shallow. It's what you are, what brings in the most amount of money, and that's what you are, right? You're nothing else. It doesn't matter if you're even an inspiring musician, YouTuber, hell, even athlete. Um, if it's not set in stone, then you are not that thing in the U.S. You know, and that's just kind of how it works in the U.S. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. But here, like my cousin was introducing me the other day. And he's like, "Oh, my cousin's a YouTuber." He didn't say, uh, "My cousin uh, is a digital nomad or whatever," which would have been fine. I wouldn't have cared. Um, but yeah, people can actually recognize you for what you actually want to be known for, like down here. So, anyways, just interesting dynamics. Um, but yeah, but getting back to the point though is like I don't know, like people are even though some people make good money in the states, they really hate what they do. You know, and so even though yeah, you can say that you do X thing, Y thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're not living, if you're not even relatively happy, like what's the point? you know. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy stuff to think about. But anyways, you guys can comment in. I know I only got 2 people watching right now. That's okay. I'll probably wrap this up soon here. Uh, but yeah, it's just crazy thing about life though. And I think kind of wrapping all this up. I'm glad I'm starting to live for myself. I really put it off for years. I gave everything I had to make the woman I was with in the States happy. Sacrifice weekends, sacrifice my free time, sacrifice everything, make sure her life was improving, even though it would set me back. Uh, helping her out with certain things. Um, then also gave so much to see my family well over the years. And so like now that I'm finally at a point where I can simply just do what I want, it's pretty liberating. And maybe sound might to some people might sound like a selfish message, but no, it's not, man. And if anything, the more successful you become, the more of the ability you have to give back, anyways. Beyond just family, beyond immediate loved ones, but give back to society as a whole. You know, so yeah, I guess that's it for me. And so I think I'm gonna wrap this up, you guys. Not the longest live, but yeah, I'm kind of lagging right here. I think I had to refresh my phone, so my bad. But yeah, I'm tired too. It was a long night last night. My niece's graduation, so yeah, I'm pretty damn tired right now. Not gonna lie. So yeah, no YouTube video tonight besides just live. Just thought I'd go live, catch a couple of you guys, and yeah. And for me, I'm just gonna keep it moving, man, and keep on going because there's really no other alternative besides that. So, anyways, you guys, love you guys. Thanks for listening to some rambling stuff. Hopefully, you got something out of it. Um, I'm not gonna put any ads on this in case you guys want to watch it back. What I might start doing though, what I might start doing is making live streams members only content. So all my past live streams, you might have to become a member for like $1, $2, $3 a month, something like that. I don't even know what it is. I got to go back and see that. But at least if you actually catch me on the live streams, I'm not going to do any ads in the moment. There are some people who go live and, they have ads running during the live. So I haven't done that. Uh, but if you want to go back and watch them, I might change that up on you guys to where it becomes members only, $1 a month type thing uh, to connect with me. So we'll see, though. We'll see. But, anyways, I'm going to see y'all later. Take care of yourselves. I'll probably be doing a couple of videos before Christmas and New Year's here. So catch the videos coming up. I'll be doing more live streams too. I'm going to have a little bit of time off next week and the week after. So, yeah, you guys will see me and I'll still see you guys. So, all right. Take care, y'all.